Hello everyone, and welcome back to Series 33. These are my Alliance War videos for this season, and I'm in Battlegroup 1. Spicing things up, making some changes. I'm looking forward to some some new roles, I guess, broadly speaking, because in every battle group someone always has their roles. So I'm interested to see what roles I can provide here for this new group. Let's jump straight into it. You'll see I've got Human Torch, I've got Spider29, and I've got Warlock. I'm bringing in Warlock to take this Havoc on the second node of Path 9. It's not a super duper hard fight, and it's you know, they've just done this to annoy planners because, of course, it's sort of vaguely annoying having to split the path or force a Warlock. Now, my strategy here is just not to hit him during the Incinerate phase because, of course, Warlock is not Incinerate immune, which means just parrying, dashing away, and hitting into his block. And here I get my opening, poison immune, and try and get in there with some nice reparries and stuff. Warlock is of course ideal for Havoc because he's got an armor buff. I don't really need to say that for anyone, but of course I think it's worth saying that something which people often, I feel, forget about Warlock is that whenever he parries a non-contact medium attack, which happens all the time with Warlock because all of his stuff with Havoc, because all of his stuff is non-contact, then you power drain a little bit, and that means Havoc loses his plasma stuff. So not too much to worry about there. I get up to SB2 when he's in the poison phase, where I can launch it, does a load of damage, and I just need to repeat that cycle. You'll see at the beginning I used a combat regen boost just to keep myself topped off, and because Alliance War potions are of course now incredibly valuable, so I wanted to just make sure I can use one of those, which normally go into overflow. Back in poison mode, and here I'm what I call anti-baiting, where I just hold block when they have a special, so that they throw heavy instead of the special, so I can throw mine first. Get another SB2 off there. I think assassin mode turns off his indestructible thing. He's almost dead, so I chuck a heavy, even though we're in incinerate mode, and he dies, so nice and easy. We rejoin the action here on the run up to the boss, because for this war I am on boss duty, and I'm taking the second fight of Path 1 in Section 2, through a couple of minis, and then onto the boss. So this fight is on the new Path 1 node, Buffet over time, and this, I forget what it's called now, the new node where if they regen 10 times, they then go unblockable. So, kind of interested to see what's going on here. I did some digging, and I discovered that Warlock's Infection, which provides a passive heal block, does not counter this node, because you'll see here, there we go, reinvigorated, when the heal block turns off that node, but Warlock's Infection does not count as a heal block, so I'm just hoping to kill him before he triggers Buffet 10 times. And my strategy here, because I've already established that this person plays with willpower, my strategy here is a good old-fashioned parry heavy, because then he can't evade. I build up my infection charges. Happy days. Here I have to trigger Dex, because I want to trigger Buffet before my armor up buff comes back. Because if I don't do that, my armor up buff is going to continually come back, because it comes back every 10 seconds. And the buffet will keep eating it, because the buffet refreshes after every 10 seconds. So that was actually an important moment in the fight, and that was the one thing I was kind of worried about. But if you were to rewatch it, you'll see that buffet eats my armor up, and then I wait until buffet's off cooldown, trigger Dex specifically, get it to eat my Dex, and then my armor up comes back, and that stays forever. And there's no way he can get rid of it, so the only way he triggers buffet is if I Dex, which I do a few times, but it's not the end of the world, because I am just parry heavying him here, more or less. The occasional extra hit. The infection is on him, so he's constantly being power drained from willpower, from the bleeds, and the parries and stuff like that. I'm not throwing any specials at all, because I just don't want to risk a Peter Porker Pepper Doodah thing, meaning I take any damage. And so, nice, easy fight. Would be nice if Warlock actually countered the node, but I guess he doesn't need to. That's the last Warlock fight, and now we're up to this Juggernaut. Now, the reason... So, this is the node where you, as an attacker, gain this Falter debuff once the defender's buffs expire, and Juggernaut is having plenty of buffs expire on him because he's always unstoppable from his special attacks. And, of course, he's also a champion benefiting from the global. So the reason they put him here is because he's going to be unstoppable a lot from his specials, and he's going to be unstoppable from the global, so that could all be quite annoying. But luckily there are enough windows where Torch can do his thing. So here he's not going unstoppable, he's not got the global for a little while, so I can do my thing. Because I'm Torch, I can completely ignore the miss mechanic, because I'm just going to burn straight through that. And here we have another opening where he's not throwing specials, luckily. He's not, the global's not quite triggering. I could see how this could be an issue this fight. I get decent good luck with him not throwing specials an awful lot. There I meant to reparry, but I get tagged, which is annoying, but fine. There I decide to throw my SP2, which is actually, and you see here I'm a bit cagey, I don't want to hit him, because I know that he's about to go stun immune from the global, and then he'll, I guess, be immune to that, my stun debuff, and I don't want to get smacked, so, but it doesn't really matter because I'm Torch, and so I melt him. Overall, not too bad. I wait for someone else to apply the white Magneto pre-fight here, which is very useful because it gets run Conflictor, and this is Bangog. Now, of course, normally we see Bangog on the next node, but here we have him on this early one. Here I'm deciding which of my now incredibly valuable Alliance War potion to use, so I plump for one of the old 6,000 ones. Rip them. But here, with white Magneto pre-fight, I can have guaranteed parries, and I will not be putting any debuffs on him at all. Except for one, which you'll see happening later. I'm using Flame On just to get my damage up, and this is the node where if you do the same kind of basic attack twice in a row, the opponent gets prowess and block penetration. Therefore my strategy is quite simply to parry and medium light. Kind of playing it like Mixmaster, right? I do throw on an invulnerability boost just in case. And yeah, my plan is to anti-bait, as I said earlier, so stop him from throwing SP1, push him to SP2, and just block that. And if he's not getting any prowess and not getting any block penetration, it's nothing to worry about. So, going nice and easy so far. Here I'm about to push him to SP1, but I immediately hold block, bait out the heavy, medium light, hold block, bait out the heavy, medium light, hold block, bait out the heavy, medium light, and then I just hold block again and try and bait out the SP2. It's theoretically possible that MD could push him to SP3 there, so that could be a bit dodgy, but yeah. Medium light, and stop him from throwing SP1, and you'll see he is almost dead. So there he throws SP1 when I didn't want him to, but it doesn't really matter. I'm thinking here that, oh, this is fine, I've basically won this, and so I throw caution to the wind here and throw my SP2, which was stupid, because you'll see there he gains the armor buff. There was a small chance he could have gone unstoppable there. And I also gave him a stun debuff, which he purified and gave a little power. And I thought, oh dear, but we're fine. If I just stuck with the game plan, I would have finished him in slightly less time, but slightly more safely. Now here we have the boss, Nimrod, and it is a rank 4 Nimrod, so I was a bit worried about this because I thought it might well be a timeout. My Spidey is only rank 3, and he's also unduped, which reduces his damage output. So overall I was kind of worried about this. I chuck on an SP3 boost just in case. Probably should have done that earlier, but I didn't. And here I'm going for the advanced power boost. And the strategy here is get to SP3 as quick as possible. Even if that means just getting smacked, I'm perfectly prepared just to get smacked. Of course you have the damage reduction, and I have suicide, so I'll be constantly healing. Here he doesn't go unstoppable at first, so I can get some power by hitting him, doing loads and loads of intercepts just to get as much power as quickly as possible. Yeah, so here again he doesn't trigger the global at all, even though he's got a bunch of armor ups, which is very lucky. And here I do decide to bait out the SP1, possibly foolishly. And I'm almost at SP3, so it's not too bad. There I do get hit by it because I'm not 100% on evading that, which is kind of annoying, but that's fine. I hit him a couple of times. Now I don't throw the SP3 immediately because he's got this power lock thing. Have to wait a moment. I choose to bait out the SP1 before I throw it. Get hit by it again, but it doesn't matter. And now that we have the slow on him, it's simply a game of keeping this slow paused by doing your Spidey 2099 pause action as much as possible. So I go for an immediate pause by dashing back while I bait out his SP1 and doing as much damage as possible as quickly as possible. Get the full evade there and get into him. There I do push him to SP2 just because why not? It's more economical because I'm spending less time baiting out specials, and of course the more time you spend dodging specials, the more time you're pausing your debuffs. So my game plan here is perhaps a little bit unusual. My game plan is to go to the SP1, and when I can, throw it, which I do in here just a moment. I'm not quite sure why I didn't throw it there. And the reason I'm throwing the SP1 is because what I'm aiming for is the long pause, which I don't know if this is something that's widely known about Spidey, but when you have physical resistance charges and you go for a dex, it pauses your debuffs for even longer than normal. You'll see that's that little cooldown, which is now just gone. So I wanted the sort of extra long cooldown on the slow. I don't know how much good it did me, but that's what I did. You also, of course, put the physical weakness debuffs on him, which is going to increase your damage output overall from all your normal hits and your ruptures and stuff, and when the ruptures burst. And the next thing it's going to do, of course, is provide an extra debuff so that your SP2 does even more burst damage. So I calculated that overall it was worth doing that. I don't know if that's correct, I don't know if that's optimal, but it's what I did. Because we're baiting out so many specials here, and of course evading those specials, we keep doing a pretty good job of keeping slow paused. I'm looking at the time here. We're at 3 minutes into the fight, and we're kind of almost down to half health, so I'm not too worried here. Fully evade the SP2, which I don't think you can punish, so here it's just bait out the heavy. Looking finally to use it. Wait, there I go for an intercept and get smacked, but doesn't really matter. And I do use SP2 there, do a load of burst damage. Happy days. And yeah, that's kind of this fight. I don't go for as long as you keep the slow debuff paused, all you need to do is just keep spamming SP2 and keep baiting out those specials. At this point, I'm pretty happy that I'm not going to timeout. I'm not quite here. I'm hitting into his block to gain more ruptures. That strategy is more effective when your Spidey is duped, because that more of them will stick around once you push them over a bar of power. There, of course, none of them do because I'm unduped. So I don't use that strategy very often, but I do it sometimes. Here I push myself to another SP2, have to bait out another special. Slow's not even close to going away. Launch this, and it's pretty much lights out here. So you'll see we've got 2 minutes left, and I just need to hit him a few more times. And yeah, a kind of nice easy solo. You're of course super sustainable here because of the normal reasons, but all these debuffs on you from Nimrod means that you're healing all the time and a lot. See, we still have the bug where my poison debuffs are gone, but I'm still taking the damage. Oh yeah, there I get parry because I go for a bad intercept. But we finally, in just a moment, finish him off. So not too bad. 5 fights, 1 boss solo, kind of average. And a pretty solid start to this season, so I'm pretty happy with that. We managed to win this war, which is great. Always nice to have a winning start, and that's all I have. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I will see you in the next one. Ta-ta!